Hey guys, welcome to this very interesting and fun episode of Car Chat, where we're going to be talking and chatting about cars and trucks. Because once again, we've got Andre here. Last week we basically gave you our 2024 predictions, and today we're going to be talking about our favorite, not the best, even though they could be, cars, and because Andre's here, trucks. So Tommy, where's Nathan?
Well, Nathan is out playing cricket or something. I don't know. Nathan
doesn't play cricket.
He is an enigma. Sorry, that's the wrong word.
No, he's not at the doctor's.
He is an enigma, that guy. He is both classy and the Brian Johnson AC/DC fan you'd
He's doing
expect him
something
to
like
be.
the Highland Games or something, like lifting very
Yes.
heavy poles and throwing
I
them
don't know.
over his head.
He's doing something very cool, I'm sure.
But now we're going to be talking about our favorite vehicles, new vehicles. So if you guys are interested in buying a new car, maybe you'll pick one of these. Like I said, these may not be the best because we are going to have some, I hope, interesting conversations about these. But we're going to talk about luxury cars. We're going to talk about sports cars. We're going to talk about EVs. And of course, we're going to talk about trucks.
And crossovers.
But you know what? I think since Andre is a very special guest here, should we start with trucks?
We can.
All right.
Whoa, pressure.
So let's start with this. What is your favorite small truck? In other words, compact truck, Andre.
For me. Well, that's easier because there's only really two right now that's on sale in the United States. And I have to go with the Maverick. Ford Maverick is still hot. I love driving it. And they have actually a lot of options.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the hybrid, you've got the Tremor.
Yes.
You've got the FX4 Mavericks. You got all sorts of different trims.
You have all-wheel drive in the turbocharged one, or you have actually no all-wheel drive in the hybrid.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's a really big miss. So the Maverick Hybrid, when they launched, right, it was $19,000, under 20 grand, and it offered crazy efficiency, good utility, crazy payload, and that really was the truck I wanted. But I wanted that truck with all-wheel drive for living in Colorado, and we get snow, and of course you go a little bit off-road. You want those rear wheels kicking in, but you just never could get that option.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't understand why both Hyundai and Ford don't offer a hybrid in their small trucks.
And all-wheel drive.
And all-wheel drive, yeah. You can have all-wheel drive or you can have the hybrid, but you can't have both. Do you guys hate us up here in snow country? Really? Are we that horrible?
So we just did the sales podcast, so the numbers for
Over
pickup
Talking
trucks,
Trucks, yeah.
Talking Trucks.
And you can check that out at alltfl.com.
Yeah, and why I'm bringing this up is because both the Santa Cruz improved a little bit in sales, but the Maverick still continues to improve in a big way. So if I was Ford and I was looking at my sales growing by 26% on the Maverick.
Right. How many do they sell of each?
96,000 a year.
Mavericks?
Wow. Maverick.
And Santa Cruz?
And like Santa Cruz is about 37,000.
I mean, I think we're probably all in agreement in the small truck category. The Maverick is our favorite small truck.
But because it's more trucky.
It's more usable than
it's more
Santa
trucky.
Cruz. Yeah.
And
it's also a little bit more affordable. Although I will say Ford has been creeping up the price on this little guy.
Yes.
Each and every year.
You cannot get it for 20 grand anymore.
Yep. Look, what I don't understand, right, is that Ford has offered hybrids in small crossovers before with all-wheel drive.
Well, here's the crazy thing.
Escape.
It's built on the Escape chassis, which can be gotten with an all-wheel drive and a hybrid, but the same chassis apparently does not work for the Maverick. Ford, what are you thinking? Or maybe they can't keep up with demand.
Well, I think that's a lot of it. We've got a friend in this industry, Jessica Ray, who's over at Motor Trend.
Yeah, I love her.
Motor Week, excuse me.
Yeah.
The Motor Week podcast.
She just got one.
Yeah, she's been waiting for months.
Or years,
I think
in fact.
years for that little guy.
And she finally got it, right?
Yeah.
And she's short, but she's on the petite side, right? But the crazy thing about the Maverick is you could be Andre size, 6'3", and you still fit in it. So for a very small truck, it actually is very usable.
Yeah, it's a great little truck. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that one.
All right, so let's now move to cars. And you can see a theme here.
Okay.
Because I've got a theme in my mind. So what's your favorite small, not tiny, small crossover? Now, there are segments in the car industry, right? There's like compact, there's midsize, but I don't want to go into all that technical mumbo jumbo if you guys are watching this. I'm just talking about small crossover. So you want to name some small crossovers, Tommy?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at that class, you're probably shopping with the Toyota RAV4, the Honda CR-V, the Ford Escape.
Yeah, one of the most popular classes. And there are tiny ones, we could call them
subcompacts or something.
Like the
I mean, honestly,
Cross, that's tiny.
There's probably good reasons that there are category names. Maybe we should just use that, but we'll say small.
Yeah.
I want to talk about tiny in a second. But then, what's your favorite small the small crossover.
For me, it's easy because it's the most popular vehicle outside of F-150 or F-Series in America. They sell hundreds of thousands of them, and it's the RAV4, Tommy. And you can get it in a lot of flavors, but I think Toyota just nailed that car. From the styling to the different versions, right? There's a plug-in hybrid, there's a hybrid, to the adventure model. I just think it kind of meets a lot of needs of a lot of people. And I enjoy driving it. Does it make me feel special? A little bit, but, for that segment where there are hundreds and thousands of those sold every year, I think Toyota did a great job.
What about you?
Tommy, so did you get a chance to drive the new CRV? Because we had one here recently, correct?
I did not have a chance to get any seat time behind that vehicle.
I did not either. Did you?
Yeah, I went on the program.
On the CRV?
Yeah.
So, but you like the RAV4 a little bit better?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I like the styling of it a little bit better.
Okay. Because the Honda is more like roundy.
Yeah, the Honda's
right?
a little bit more roly-poly. I love the Honda too, don't get me wrong. It's got great ergonomics. It's got, that was a classic case of evolutionary, not revolutionary in terms of the new one. But I like the more boxy, the more kind of square jaw design of the RAV4 as opposed to kind of the more rolly, more, let's call it, circular Honda.
So I have a controversial take on this.
All right, let's hear it.
So
Hot take.
My favorite small crossover is not the Toyota or the Honda. It's not the Chevy or the Ford or the Hyundai or the Kia. My favorite small crossover is the Mitsubishi.
What?
The Outlander PHEV, the plug-in hybrid Mitsubishi.
Yes.
I've spent some time in that vehicle, and I really enjoy its design, its price point, and its capability, actually. It's a really impressive little package.
I would be on board with you, except for the fact that it is a plug-in hybrid and it uses CHAdeMO. Can you even charge a CHAdeMO vehicle
They
nowadays?
got rid of the CHAdeMO.
Is it gone now?
Didn't they?
No.
Just in the most
Is it
recent
still?
one. So we
Google
tested.
it.
It might still be
We
around.
tested
It's a
one
CHAdeMO.
about a year ago. I
It's a
remember Nathan and I went out.
It's a head scratcher.
Nathan and I went out and tested the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. We both loved it. It was comfortable. It was quiet. It was relatively quick. We went to the CHAdeMO station about a year ago. We charged it up. It wasn't fast charging. But you could charge it at home, can't
Yeah,
you?
but who cares if it's? I mean, the reason I forgot it's CHAdeMO is because no one's going to charge a PHEV at a public charger because you're going to run on the gas engine. I mean, what fast charging does the RAV4 Prime have?
It's got CCS.
It's got none.
Oh,
It's
that's
got
right.
no fast charging.
Yeah.
So
Wait, the Prime?
the Prime has no fast charging. Yeah,
Just-
it's got a
Oh,
6.6
just
kilowatt
level
onboard.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that it even has a fast charging option, albeit if it's CHAdeMO, look, it's a great vehicle, right? It starts at about $40,000, which I think is pretty good for a plug-in hybrid.
Yeah.
Goes about 38 miles on a range, all-wheel drive, and keep in mind, guys, the Outlander is the only car in this class now. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying this that is available with the third row.
You know what the problem with that, right? Your argument, and I love that car, so I really think it's a great car. But when you have a car that has an outdated and an outmoded, charging method, right? It's like you just bought a new car, you come to me and you say, "Hey, Roman, guess what? My new Mitsubishi has ABS." And I'd be like, "Really? You have ABS?"
Yeah, but the alternative is having no fast charging, like in an Escape plug-in hybrid. So
I want like not even cutting edge. I just want the standard.
yeah, so you can have either slightly old technology or no technology, is what you're saying. You'd rather have no fast charging whatsoever.
I just don't want to make apologies for, so that would be and I don't understand it. When we went for the launch of it, which was like 2 years ago now, even back then, CHAdeMO was like way on. So for those of you who don't know, there's like 4 standards of charging an electric car, at least level 3 charging, which is DC charging, right? Fast charging. So there is a Chinese standard that I don't understand or know anything about. Then there's the CCS standard, which is now being switched over to NACS. NACS is a Tesla standard. And then Japan had its own standard called CHAdeMO. And the great thing about CHAdeMO was it was bidirectional. So you could theoretically get your Leaf and then, drive it home and then plug your house into your Leaf and use it to power your house. Great standard. It's now like 15 years old, and most of the world has gone away from it, except, of course, for Japan. And part of the problem is that Nissan, I believe, owns part of Mitsubishi, right? And so
they shared some technologies
so it's either
there.
cost cutting or it's designed for a market that isn't America.
Well, here's the thing.
But I agree, the car itself is great.
Look, it's based on the Rogue, the Outlander.
Yes.
I don't think that the base model Outlander PHEV has chat mode, so just get the base model. There you go. You get less features and you're happy.
And world's smallest third row.
Well, we're at it. Yeah, but once again,
But RAV4 doesn't really have
it's the only vehicle that has the option of a third row.
If you have little kids, you could squeeze them in there and they'll have a hoot.
I forgot about the Outlander when you said
So,
it.
yeah, everybody forgets about the Outlander.
But I was going to say, for me, it's really the Kia Sportage.
Okay.
Because I love Kia design.
That's because your dad has one.
Well, yeah, no, he has got a Sorrento, but yes.
Oh, I thought it was a Sportage. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's in the same vein. Yeah, but the Sportage is, I think, latest Kia designs are just really
I think
amazing.
Kia and Hyundai just keep knocking him out of the ballpark. So, I agree with you.
As long as they solve the issue they had, a year ago, where it was really easy to steal an older Kia or a Hyundai, as long as all that's taken care of, I would say that Sportage would be
actually,
my
that's such a competitive segment, right? That even the Rogue, especially the new Rogue, is really good because they really up the quality of the materials and it feels expensive. And then you can't leave out the Americans, right? Well, you can. You can leave out Jeep because they just got rid of the Cherokee.
Yeah, this is a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Cherokee is gone.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why that the most popular segment in America, and yet Jeep just got rid of the Cherokee, which leaves GM and of course Ford, and the Escape. Everybody kind of.
Well,
It's okay-ish.
and we should also make a note, right? There's a couple vehicles in this class we haven't driven, like the Equinox just got a facelift, right? The 2024 Equinox is a slight facelift. We also now have like the Escape plug-in hybrid, front-wheel drive only. And then the newcomer, which we have driven, is the Hornet. That's the new the new Stellantis product in this category.
Dodge,
Which
yeah.
is pretty fun. I mean, it's a very powerful vehicle. We're looking at close to 300 horsepower out of that turbocharged engine. But it rode a little too firm for me, and it was a little too small on the inside. So that's why it's not at the top of mind. But yeah, I mean, the other thing too is I don't love to be one of 400,000 RAV4 sold every year. So that's kind of why I like the Mitsubishi a little
Right.
bit. It's well made.
It's unique.
Cool pleated leather if you get like the SELs, the high-end ones. That's why it's top of my list.
All right. As you can tell, the theme is we're moving up in size. So let's move up in size in the truck segment. And now we're talking about mid-size trucks.
Okay.
A segment that has been owned traditionally by the Tacoma. There is a new Tacoma. There's actually a new Ranger coming. There's a relatively new Frontier. Am I forgetting? Oh, Colorado Canyon Twins, of course.
Yeah, which are recently new.
And to be fair, Andre, you want to give your little caveat here?
I own a new Colorado,
Thank you.
2023. So
We know what your favorite one is.
Well, you know what? The big reason for me buying the Colorado was because it was all new, and I really wanted to be at the leading edge of technology and kind of design and powertrain, because a lot of mid-sized truck makers are now switching to turbocharging, right? Toyota just did it. GM already did it. Ford was there 4 years ago. So that's why I bought my Colorado. But now I want to
You want to switch it up?
switch it up.
So what's your new favorite? So you've driven the new Tacoma a lot.
Yes.
Frontier,
We just had it
Colorado.
at the office for a week.
Yeah, we did.
You have not driven the new Ranger.
No, I've sat in it.
Yeah.
Both versions, the Raptor and the non-Raptor versions of the new Ranger. But I haven't really driven the Ranger Raptor yet. If I did, I probably would have chosen it, but I can't say because I haven't driven it.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to go Tacoma.
Tacoma.
How about you, Tommy?
Well, we had
The new Tacoma.
Yeah, the new 24.
Yeah,
Great truck. They did a lot of really nice improvements to it. We had the Gladiator as well. That's another truck in that class. We've owned the current Ranger, the outgoing Ranger. But my favorite truck in that class right now is actually the Frontier.
No way.
Yeah, I think for the money, you get a lot of old school durability and basic ruggedness that is lacking in some of the new trucks. So, you don't get any fancy turbocharging or crazy transmissions, but you get a standard V6 engine, right? Good old-fashioned, naturally aspirated, conventional transmission, solid rear axle, basic interior, good infotainment, and at a good price. I mean, I think a Pro 4X is going to vastly undercut what you can get a new Tier D off-road or Tier D Pro for, and it's going to offer 99% of the capability.
Full disclosure, we are trying to buy a Tacoma
Yes.
to test it for a year.
As a company.
As a company.
Yeah.
So we'll know more hopefully this time next year after we have one and we've lived with it. But for me, I love trucks, cars that make you feel special, and the one that would make me feel special if it wasn't so expensive. So there's a caveat there, is the Bison version of the Colorado. I think the AEV does some of the best off-road parts, and now that it's actually incorporated into the truck itself from the factory, we're talking about boron steel, right, which is supposed to be tougher and much better in terms of like
And
scraping
also
over rocks.
Relatively lightweight, yes.
And now you can have it with 35s from the factory, which is incredible. And then you get the factory warranty. So I would have to say, until we've actually driven the new TRD Pro, I'm going to go with the Bison.
You know what special edition truck I really want?
What?
Like, I don't know why I love it so much. Have you seen the new Frontier Hardbody edition?
Yes. I just saw it at the Los Angeles Auto Show in person.
I'm really excited about this. So Nissan is doing a throwback to their truck from the 80s called the Hardbody. And they've got these retro-inspired 17-inch wheels, the bed bar, the black painted front end with the graphics. Oh, that's really cool.
I saw it. You know what it's lacking? I mean, I love the new wheel design because it was a classic wheel design that they brought into the future, basically. It just feels narrow to me. I wish they would have, maybe offset the wheels a little bit more and kind of filled out the shoulders of the new Frontier. But other than that classic retro style I really like. But you know why I chose the Tacoma? It's because they fixed two huge problems I've had with it before. It was the seating position is now good for me as a driver.
Yeah.
And also payload, the increased payload on the truck. So now I can put my family in there and also tow a boat. And so that's why Tacoma.
But they increased the price.
Yeah, I know, but I'm willing to pay for that.
Okay.
All right, we're going to mix it up a little bit for you
Yes.
guys out there and
Yes.
gals. I want to do favorite sports car. New.
Ooh.
New. I'll start.
How do you classify this? A two-door?
Yeah, let's go two-door.
Can it be
Classic.
topless?
Yeah, it can be topless.
Okay.
Let's go classic. It's got to be two-door.
Okay.
Right, so like the GR Corolla's out, right? That's a four-door.
Okay.
Even though that's cool, but that's more of a hot hatch. So let's just go with classic sports car. So speaking of the GR Corolla, Toyota brought their new manual Supra with
Yes.
the bigger engine.
Yes.
And Supra sales have fallen off the cliff, right? The latest news was that they were down 50%.
They did.
That's a car that is built well. I know, because of, the fact that it shares a lot of components and a lot of development with BMW. I think it gets a bad rap for that. But it's one of those cars that I think 10, 15 years from now, people are going to be like, I wish I had bought it because it's such a good car. So I love that car. I had so much fun driving it. We also drove the 86 on that same program. My problem with the 86 is it still doesn't have enough torque or horsepower, especially up here at a mile above sea level. So for all you sea level types, perfect, fun. When you bring it up here, it starts to get a little anemic. My biggest problem with this Supra, and I wish, I could change this, is I just don't have enough headroom. So I'm 6'2" and I've got a tall body, short legs. So when I look over the side, I see this, not you. So that my heart says Supra, my head says Nuzi, because I fit in that.
Okay.
All right. How about you, Tommy?
Well, for me, I know it's a boring answer, but I still think the Miata is the best sports car on the
Same
market.
problem.
Yeah, but it's also, it's kind of the ethos of that car is as small and as lightweight as possible. And it's very compromised, right? It's got a very small trunk and it doesn't have a lot of passenger footroom. But especially the new RF, it's been out for like 3 years, but the RF with the retractable fastback is just gorgeous. It's really a good looking car. And they've just done some updates to the ND. We're now on the ND3 generation. So it's the most fun car I've driven in recent history.
All right. Hold on. All right. I got to ask you this. You went on the Corvette E-Ray program, right?
Yeah.
The new hybrid Corvette. So you like the Miata more than the fastest accelerating Corvette ever.
I
which
did.
is the E-Ray. I
Yes.
would say 2 point whatever it is, like 7 seconds, 0 to 60 or some crazy number because it's all-wheel drive. And it's all-wheel drive, so you can use it all year in Colorado.
Yeah, but here's the thing then, right? We're in an era now where a sports car cannot be judged by acceleration. Because if you want to accelerate fast, just buy an electric anything. And you're going to be quicker
Not the
than
Leaf.
anything. Not the Leaf. Yeah. Okay, there's a couple exceptions. Not the Leaf. But like a Model 3 Performance will, in the real
Out-accelerate,
world, will
yeah.
out-accelerate the E-Ray. And we did a test. I had the chief engineer of the E-Ray at the racetrack run a number of acceleration runs. And the quickest time you could get granted at a mile above sea level was 3.1. Which,
about right.
Which is exactly what a Model 3 does up here at elevation.
Yeah.
For
Performance.
a third of the price, right? So when I'm looking at a sports car, I want it to have an experience unlike any other. And I felt that the E-Ray, as impressive as it is just a little fussy.
Okay, all right, hold on. All right, I'm gonna hold your feet to the fire here. As I recall, last year I believe you got to go to the French Riviera and drive. What was that car? It's something
Yep, the
Aston Martin. That's right.
Aston DB12.
And you would take that. You would take a Miata over that.
Well, it's not a sports car. It's that's like the ultimate Grand Tour. I mean, it's a French Riviera James Bond cover huge distance with this massive V8. When I'm talking about sports car, I want to have as most fun for the dollar that I possibly can, and you just cannot beat the Miata at that.
All right, and if we're talking,
And you guys are both wrong.
What is your answer?
what's your
on that?
answer, Andre? What's your answer? The Raptor?
No, not yet. No.
TRX?
There has to be. I don't know. I love the Z.
Okay.
Miata. I don't quite fit in the Miata.
Yeah.
I like the Miata.
Yeah.
The Super is nice.
Yeah.
But it has to be only one car. Mustang GT.
Oh,
Maybe a dark horse, but actually not a dark horse because when I'm thinking sports car, I have to have wind in my hair.
Oh, so you want a convertible?
So a convertible GT 5-liter Coyote, maybe California special. I think that's for me.
so I drove the new S650 GT with the performance pack.
Yes.
Loved it in
Yes.
LA.
Yes.
Fantastic. It was
Yes.
great driving around the city streets. Amazing 5-liter Gen 4 Coyote. And then I took it into the canyons because it's a performance pack.
Yes.
This car is stickered at like 60-something thousand. It's got those like aggressive seats, and it felt pretty soft and heavy. Now it's not the dark horse. It's not the GT500 or whatever, but it felt a little too soft for a sports car.
All right, can I fess
Yeah.
up here? Just one of the things that we do at TFL is full transparency.
Okay.
And so I got to be honest, and I'm always honest, but especially honest this time. And that is, we bought a Porsche 911 Targa 4S.
Yes.
And I would say, that is probably. We haven't done much with it yet because the weather's been kind of crappy, and it's a very kind of unique car, especially with the Targa top. So starting to live with that car. So I can't say it's my favorite because the brakes every time I use them squeal like a stuck pig right now, which is really frustrating for a car.
Because they're not like broken in or something, or
I don't know.
Okay.
It's incredible for a car that costs $58,000. I feel every time I pull up to a stoplight like I'm driving a 20-year-old Kia.
I think more than 58,000.
150.
158,000.
Yeah, sorry, 158,000. Yeah.
there's a one in front of
There's
it.
a one in front
It's
of
a
it.
2024. And so it's really super frustrating. And then we've actually done some research, and Porsche says that's part of the Porsche ownership experience, having these high performance brakes. But I can't explain to you how squeaky and how annoying it is every time you hit the brakes. And they say you have to go to the 3,000 miles to brake them in, but I just don't buy it.
Well, so for me, I haven't driven every sports car on the market.
Sure.
I haven't
Well,
driven the E-Ray.
None of us really have.
Right,
Yeah.
but when I'm thinking about a two-door coupe or a convertible, I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's like the American dream. I just go to the Mustang.
Yeah, I agree.
That's kind of
Great
where.
choice.
Yeah, that's
And
where I'm going.
It's the last car standing.
Yeah, Camaro's
Challenger's gone. Camaro's
Yeah,
gone.
Camaro's gone.
That's all you got left?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if price were no object, I got to go and drive the Revuelto.
Oh,
which is
wow.
which was the Lamborghini new hybrid, which
Yes.
is just like the Corvette. So
Yes.
electric motor powering the front wheels, V12 powering the rear wheels. Pretty darn cool. And the funny thing about that car is this is how seriously the people are not going to charge it. There is a charger on board, and it plugs into the front.
Is it the Chatamo?
No, it's not Chatham.
God help you if you put a Chatham in a car with roaming around.
And it plugs into the front. Like I could see some, like some Lamborghini owner actually like pulling up to a charger, opening up his front, and plugging the car in.
No, it's going to be charged in his garage or her garage.
It'll never be charged. I assume it'll
Probably
just be,
never charged.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the most popular segment in trucks. And we have to go to full-size trucks. That, of course, means the F-150, the Ram 1500, the Silverado, and I was going to say the Tundra because the
And the
Titan's
Titan.
gone. Yeah, there's one left. We were speaking with our Nissan guy, and they have one left at the local dealership. It's black. So if you want a Titan, Boulder Nissan black, it's yours.
Technically, the Titan will be in production until like July. Technically.
Okay.
Technically speaking. I've been lusting after currently.
Yeah, TRX. Raptor?
Kind of, yeah. No, I'm
That's
kind of
gone.
in the Ram camp.
Okay.
I'm in the Ram
All right,
camp.
let's hear this.
And I want to say, because the new Ram is coming, right? The new 2025 Ram 1500 is coming. And it will have no more V8. They're discontinuing their Hemi, right? So if you ask me today, right, because the new Ram is not around, I would go for the Ram Rebel 1500 Hemi. Crew cab. I was just in one that was a little bit used, but the brand new one, lots of space.
You want the V8.
Yeah, but V8 noise.
Why not the Coyote in the Ford?
Well, that's also pretty nice, like the Tremor F-150, for example. But I don't know. I had a hybrid F-150 a couple years ago.
So you want something different?
I want something a little bit different, but also V8 sound. So right now, currently, I'm kind of looking at the Ram 1500, especially since buying like the last Hemi truck. That's kind of where I am right now.
How about you, Tommy?
Well, this is a very unpopular opinion.
Okay.
Titan.
You get another hot take. Hot take
Not
from
that
Tommy.
unpopular, Andre. No, I really. So I don't use a truck very much. Clearly, right, Mr. Skinny Jeans over here.
Okay.
But the truck I really enjoyed a lot that we owned was that Lightning, that F-150 Lightning. I really thought that was a good combination of comfort, usability. Like if I tow, it's going to tow a car to a garage. You could definitely do that. And just being able to charge it up at home and not have to worry about maintenance and that kind of thing in the long run, I think would be really attractive. So it'd probably be like a base model XL short range Lightning.
Small battery.
Yeah, all I do is drive around in the hometown, right?
And you're hauling some stuff from here to where?
Yeah, and at the
like
ranch,
Land Rover parts from here
to the shop. Yes, and
Yes.
then the Land Rover breaks, I bring that to the shop. But yeah, I move a lot of stuff at the ranch, and it's got an okay sized bed. And I like it a lot. I think it's a perfect truck for most people.
Yeah, it's hard because we've been very fortunate to have most of the full-size trucks, here for long-term review. So we've had a Raptor, we've had a Raptor R, we've had a TRX, we've had a Ram 1500.
Ram Cummins now.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about full-size.
Well, yeah.
We've had a Tundra.
ZR2 Silverado.
We've had a ZR2 Silverado. We had a long-term loan of a Titan Pro 4X.
Yes.
And we've even bought the classic
Stubby.
Oh, I did like that truck a lot.
Yes.
That'd be a close second. Stubby was a pretty awesome truck.
So I kind of feel like I've tasted all the different flavors of both expensive and.
Where are you at now?
I'm kind of someplace where I haven't been yet, and that is we haven't had a GMC. So once again, I'm going to go with the AEV version of the AT. Is it AT4X?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those AEV ones are really getting you, huh?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, really getting. I love off-road stuff, and I'm not saying
Have bumpers. They've got steel bumpers.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's faster or quicker. The problem, of course, with the GMC and the Chevys is that the V8 with 420 horsepower is now very small compared to some of the bigger power plants, and GM just doesn't seem to be putting a lot of money into the powertrain, unless you're, of course, talking about the Hummer EV or something like that. But I still think it's kind of everything you need and nothing you don't, because you don't need a lot of power when you're off-roading, right?
No.
And it still tows well.
You could have a diesel now.
You could have a
3-liter diesel, yeah.
Yeah, I know
if you wanted to.
Tim had one all year round.
Yeah.
I'm old school. If you're going to get a diesel, just go for the big diesel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this? Let's go back to cars.
Okay.
You good with that?
Yeah, let's go.
Can I just make one comment
Yeah,
about the
of course,
Lightning?
yeah.
I would buy a Lightning Standard Edition in a heartbeat because they're more affordable.
Right.
They just raised the price again on the Lightning. It's unthinkable.
Yeah, but
Why?
The move is to get a used one, like a slightly used, like 10,000 miles. I think they're depreciating pretty aggressively. That's the one to
All right,
get.
okay, before we go to cars, you can pick the next category.
Yeah.
But before we go, since we're here, electric truck.
Oh,
Electric truck.
period?
Yeah,
Just
so
any
there's-
electric truck.
Yeah, there's like 4 options basically, right? There's a Hummer EV, okay, 5. Hummer EV, Silverado EV, Lightning, Cybertruck,
And Rivian.
Rivian. Yeah, that's about it right now when it comes to trucks. So which of
Let's
those
say it together.
is your favorite?
Rivian.
Tommy thinks is on board with the Lightning.
I like the Rivian a lot more because it's just such an impressive vehicle. But for the money, I think the base
Are
Lightning.
you still Lightning?
I'm still base
Yeah.
Lightning. Yeah, I'm still Team Lightning, and we've not driven the Cybertruck, so I don't think we can fairly say whether or not we'd put that on our list.
Yeah, we're trying to buy one. So I can't. I mean, right now I'd say Cybertruck because it's the hottest, coolest.
But to Andre's point, every time we drive a Rivian, it's just so good.
And it's well made.
Yeah, it's just
too.
such a good vehicle.
As far as quality of the interior, I would also go.
No Silverado EV.
So for me to be a favorite vehicle, it has to have the full package,
How about
including
the
the
RST?
style.
So remember we saw it at the drive.
Yes, the RST.
I might be.
That's over
overall-
100,000
all right,
now.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot, but they're
So
all a lot.
it has to be the whole package, like Tommy is saying, like Miata for him or Lightning.
Look,
it's the full package. It's the design.
I think engineering-wise, until we drive the Cybertruck, the Rivian is certainly the most thoughtfully engineered.
Yeah.
The most off-road, overlanding designed. Right. You've got the little.
Even though it doesn't off-road really well, we
but
found
it's
out.
better than the Hummer.
But it's better than the Hummer.
You've got that, pass through where you could throw your
Yes.
gear into.
Yes.
You've got like camp mode where it levels itself. I mean, just a lot of thought and a lot of. It's obvious the people who engineered it understood what overlanding and off-roading was. I'm not sure you can say that about the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck feels to me like it was designed by people who watch like Ford commercials or like Iraq commercials when they're bounding across, but they don't actually go off-road. I could be wrong, but that's
we'll have to test it.
That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, but honestly, the Cybertruck's the only one that's going to have lockers.
Front and rear,
front and
technically.
rear what?
Hummer EV.
Only a front, not a rear mechanical locker.
And the current Rivian quad motor has virtual
Right.
lockers. It's
Yeah.
not lockers. It's just motors synchronizing
And
together.
the Ford has a mechanical rear locker,
Yeah.
but the Lightning's going to have the Cybertruck's going to be the only truck with a mechanical front and rear locker.
All right, well, we'll see. Is that the Cyber Beast?
No,
only?
that's actually the non-Cyber Beast.
Non-Cyber Beast.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. Which car? You want to go back to cars?
Yeah. So I want to talk about family hauling 3-row SUVs, not the full-sized SUVs, but like
Not like Tahoes. You mean like
Pilot,
Palisade?
Highlander, Palisade, Telluride,
So 3-row, mid-size.
Grand Highlander.
crossover. Yeah, that's a good option.
That's what I would pick. I think that's. I think you get the most bang for your buck. You get a lot of room in the back. You get a
You
very
also have
efficient
the
hybrid.
Hybrid Max.
Yes. Yes.
Which is a powerful hybrid.
Which is a powerful hybrid.
Yes.
And the fuel economy is not horrible. It's not great. I'm going to say it's like, remember when we drove it? What was it? We drove it in Hawaii.
What the efficiency was or what the power was?
No, the efficiency.
I think
Remember?
the efficiency is
It was in
like
the 20s.
25-ish,
Yeah, it was
26.
mid-20s.
So it's not like Prius.
But the back, Andre and I sat in the back row, and it actually fit us comfortably. What do you think, Tommy?
The new Pilot
The new Pilot,
is
interesting.
really good.
Trail Sports?
Trail Sport, yeah,
Ooh.
really, really good. Yeah, I had a chance to go drive that up some really aggressive terrain with the engineers when it was all camouflaged, and they took us on like a genuine off-road, low-range one, probably a locking diff obstacle in this unibody crossover, and the thing just kept going. It was a really impressive machine, and I loved it. Yeah, I mean, I really like the space. I like the packaging. Engine's going to be durable. It's a basic V6. That's the answer for me. How about you, Andre?
Yeah.
Well, my great friend Noah just bought a Grand Highlander as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
And so he's driving the Hybrid Max.
Uh-huh.
He's loving it. He paid almost $60,000 for his because he had a few options. It was one of the higher trims.
But a Palisade or a Telluride isn't going to be much cheaper. Officially, it is cheaper, MSRP.
Right.
But those are so popular, and they've been so.
And they have sometimes market adjustments on them.
Yeah, they're and even what is it now? 2 or 3 years after they came out, they're still hard to get.
And I was puzzled at first. I'm going to say the Grand Highlander. I was puzzled at first because there's also the Highlander, right? So I thought, my gosh, Toyota, you're having too many options here.
Right.
But now I'm looking at the Grand Highlander. It's a little bit larger inside. Styling is great. I like the boxy look. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to go Grand Highlander.
Yeah, I think it's a.
So we got 2 Grand
solid
Highlanders.
option.
All right, well, let's go kind of into your neck of the woods. Now we're talking about the big boys, right?
Oh, yes.
Tahoes, Yukons,
Sequoias.
yeah. Out of those, and there's more, of course, in that category. There's the Nissan Armada. And now we're talking about the luxury ones, right? So we're keeping Genesis off the table. We're just talking about the mainstream brands.
So not like no Range Rovers.
no Range Rovers,
No
no.
GLSs.
Right. We'll get
no
to
Mercedes.
Those. We'll get to those in a second.
Okay.
Well, I think for me, Expedition's off the list because it's a little old.
Okay.
A good vehicle, but it's looking a little dated. Although the Timberline's supposed to be cool. I haven't spent any time.
Well, the Timberline has that vertical entertainment screen
Yeah,
from the Lightning.
I haven't spent any time in that, but I think for me it's got to be the and this is also just being refreshed, but the Tahoe Z71 is really good. It's a really good, just full size, family hauling, good capability, looks fantastic. It's very expensive, and now you can get it with that new 3-liter diesel, which is just a phenomenal, efficient, torquey engine. So
I'm going to keep it simple. I'm with Tommy. I love the Tahoe.
Tahoe, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to beat the Tahoe. It's
Well, it's a class leader for a reason.
yeah.
The only thing about the Tahoe, so I'm thinking right now really, really hard.
Suburban, if you want to go bigger.
Yes, but they went to independent rear suspension, right? A couple years ago as they redesigned it. And those A-arms underneath hang down. You've seen this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So whenever I'm behind a Tahoe, I'm looking at that. I'm like, gosh, they have like 4 inches of ground clearance in the rear. Other than that, it's an amazing vehicle. I think they understand that customer. The Suburban has been around for 80 years.
Plus, they tow well. I mean, if you want to,
It tows great.
If you want a good towing rig,
Yes.
yeah.
And Ford is trying to, of course, eat some sales away from GM. Right here, the Expedition is there. It's growing in sales. We just did a story about this.
Wow.
But you can't beat the GM guys because they control. I did the calculation last night. 59% of the full-size SUV market. 59%. I'm gonna say Tahoe.
Okay. And
What about?
Go ahead.
What about the new? Because you drove
Armada?
this. No, the new
Sequoia?
inline six in the Wagoneer.
I haven't driven that yet.
You haven't driven that.
I drove it.
He drove
you
it.
drove
I drove
He
the
drove it.
I drove the Grand Wagoneer.
Design of it is weird.
Yeah.
Weird
I
design.
mean, if I'm being mean, I would say there's a little bit of a whiff of like rent-a-car van, right? Because the B pillar and the C pillar are the same color as the body. Usually those are
you
black.
mean the exterior style?
Yeah. So I think the exterior styling from the side, especially, but in terms of like interior fit and finish, it's incredible. Number of innovations, off-road worthiness. The problem I have with that vehicle is it doesn't feel like it belongs in any segment that like. Is it a Jeep? Is it not a Jeep? Is it its own thing? Does it compete with the Grand Cherokee L? Why would you just get the Grand Cherokee L instead of paying more for the Wagoneer? I'm going to say the jury's still out when it comes to that Hurricane.
Well, I want more time with the Hurricane.
Yeah.
I mean, Roman drove it. I haven't really driven it yet. The Hurricane is coming to the Ram. We still need to drive that. We still need to figure that out. I'm going to switch mine to Yukon.
Fair enough.
There you have it.
All right.
But I mean, look. So the thing with the Hurricane, though, is as I understand it, it's just a large-scale architecture of the 2-liter that we've driven and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's related.
So it's upsized.
So I don't.
It's twin turbocharged.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Which is nice.
So I'm not sure how many, what I don't understand is, so developing an engine is a $1 billion activity.
Oh yeah.
It is such an expensive undertaking to do a ground up clean sheet engine.
Especially emissions, power,
Right.
everything.
So what I don't understand is we have 4 or 5 manufacturers that build separate engines that are all almost the same. And I'm talking about the 3-liter inline 6 turbo. BMW has one. Mercedes has one.
Yes.
Jaguar Land Rover has one. Mazda has one now. Stellantis has one.
Stellantis.
I mean, at what point does it make more sense to have like these companies come together and say, all right, we're all doing the same thing. Why are we spending $8 billion combined to do the same thing? Why don't we focus our attention on one engine? Because Ford and GM had that 10-speed transmission partnership.
Yeah, they have.
Just do something like that. And because
interesting.
it's not like they drive all that different. The BMW and the Mercedes, they all drive pretty much the
I think
same.
it's the same thing about the 2-liter turbo, right?
Yeah, same thing.
There's like
They're all the
Everybody
same.
has a 2-liter turbo.
and this is why Tesla's crushing it.
But I mean,
in
and I
terms of
think
sales, right?
in like the sports car world, manufacturers have figured this out. So like Aston Martin, right, no longer has their own engines. They will.
You're saying they should share like BMW does with the Supra.
Well, I mean, yeah, to an extent, but I mean, like in an interesting, exciting engine like that 3-liter inline 6 diesel, so different, right?
But competition makes things better.
But they're not. They're competing against. They're exactly the same. I mean, if I blindfolded you and told you to drive an X5 and then a GLE, both the 3-liter, you wouldn't be able to tell which one is which. They're just all the same. So anyway, that's my Tommy rant about
this is why people are predicting the capitalism will die in the next 20, 30 years, or even sooner, because the thinking of the younger generation is different than the thinking of I'm thinking competition is good. He's thinking it's just a waste of resources.
But I think competition is changing.
It's
changing. I think
I
that's
like that.
I think that's what Tommy is after, because I'm a little bit worried about this. So 10 years from now, every pickup truck will have an electric motor, right? Let's say.
Sure.
Oh, you're gonna get so many comments on that.
Half ton.
You're gonna take
Every
you're
half
gonna
ton.
take my
Andre's
half-ton
laying down the gauntlet.
V8 out of my cold dead hands, Andre.
But follow me on this for just a second. If every pickup truck has an electric engine in 10 years, half ton, then you could argue they all have the same performance.
Sure.
Okay?
Right.
So how do you differentiate a Ford from a Chevy, from a Ram, from a Toyota?
Yeah.
Right?
Depends
That's
who-
what you're
it
saying.
Depends who composes your music.
Whoever composes your symphony of exhaust.
Look, I mean, what we're talking about is like the commoditization of engineering.
Yes,
to some
kind of.
extent.
That's where we're
All right,
going.
guys, I'm going to bring this back to our favorite car.
I think it's an interesting tangent, though, because so Andre, right? I think Andre's right. I don't think every truck's gonna be electric, but I think every truck is gonna have a hybrid component of some kind, be it a mild hybrid or a serial hybrid or a full electric. I think you're pretty spot. I mean, look, even Ram, right, has the e-torque system, which has been around
Right,
for a bunch of years.
right.
That's
Right,
technically
right.
an electric
I'll
motor.
bring it back.
No.
No, but this is what podcasts are for, Dad.
Well, we
We're
have so
having
many
a
more
discussion.
segments, and we're running out of time.
That's okay.
Oh,
the,
jeez.
the audience is tuned in, but it's
Here's the problem, okay, with this conversation. It's veering into politics, right?
No.
No, we're talking about-
We're talking about uniqueness.
yeah, uniqueness. So it's like, so going forward, what is going
So
to?
Andre made the statement that every full-size truck is going to be electric. That's like.
I can't vote for an electric motor for 2024. How is that a political decision?
Because this is what has become of our country in some ways, which is sad. Instead of people looking at the values and the virtues of each of the powertrains, saying, hey, I want a V8 because I love, the fact that it's classic and it has a lot of power and a lot of torque and gas is cheap, right?
Well, no.
But what people are saying now is, I want a V8 because that's my political belief, and then I hate the other side, the other team, because
Dad,
they're a bunch of tree huggers.
Take that argument back.
So that's
We're having that discussion right now. We're not bringing
That's what I'm
politics
trying to
into it.
do with this conversation. I wish people would look at the virtues and the what's the opposite of virtues? The deficits,
Facts. No,
right?
That's right.
I don't know.
Virtue and deficit. What did you say? Virtue and facts?
I don't know. No.
Look at the deficits and virtues, or of each of the different powertrains, and then apply them to how they work in their life, and then not point at the other team and say you guys are a bunch of yada yada yadas because you like this, even though it works better for your life.
So let me put some stats to it, right? Because this is interesting. So the reason that every small crossover has a 2-liter turbocharged engine, and every small car has a 2-liter turbocharged engine, is if you look at the physics, not the politics, but the physics of it, that displacement on paper is the perfect balance of how much bore and stroke you need to develop power and efficiency. That's where
And
the
emission-
lines
and
of
emissions.
efficiency and emissions meet. Is that
Yeah.
2
But
liters of
that's a
displacement?
moving target, Tommy. It's not set in stone.
It's
right?
pretty much set in stone. If you want to run your engine at whatever the air fuel ratio of this and this and this, 2-liter of displacement is the most efficient.
And then all of a sudden now you've got like the GR Corolla, which has a 3-cylinder
Yeah, but that's
that
different.
produces 300 horsepower.
Hold on, but that's an enthusiast product, and enthusiast products have different.
Let me give you another analogy, okay? You could say there's a perfect aerodynamic shape, and that shape has the best drag coefficient.
Yeah.
And yet that changes because styles change, right? So I think you can't just use this
But
engineering
every
argument.
small crossover now looks almost the same.
Yeah, they all look the same.
So
now.
I agree. Can we go back to our topic now?
No, because we're having an interesting discussion, Dad.
Okay.
I just like to give people what
I
to
just
click
think
for.
Andre and I will finish it up. You can complain. I think it's an interesting discussion. Like especially now that cars are becoming, and with the age of electrification, how are manufacturers going to differentiate? They can differentiate
That's
on
the whole
style.
podcast in
They
itself.
can differentiate on pricing, but
The feeling of the leathers,
that's right.
synthetic leathers.
Yeah, interiors, right?
Yeah.
Going to be very crucial.
It's a different topic, but
Yeah.
the reason why I said I want a Coyote V8 Mustang GT is because it has heritage, right? That engine's been around for years or decades, and also the Hemi engine's been around for a long time, right?
Right.
So if my father used to own a Hemi, I may lean there. If my father used to own a 5-liter, so it was easier to differentiate before, but now I think Tommy and I are saying the engineering has just converged,
Right.
and we're approaching this point. So how do you differentiate in the future? That's what.
Can you imagine, like 30 years from now, I want
a
an
Lucid.
No, I want an 80 kilowatt kilowatt hour battery and one single motor because my dad had that.
Yeah, right.
My daddy used to have one motor, okay?
I don't want 4 motors. Anyway, let's go and talk about the luxury version of these big crossovers / SUVs. Right
Okay.
now we're talking about Navigator. Now we're talking about Escalade. Now we're talking about Range Rovers. And the big luxurious versions of these 3-rows.
Bentegas? Are we talking about Bentegas?
2-row.
Andre just drove the new Bentayga around for a bunch of days, and I think he enjoyed that
So you're
experience.
picking the Bentayga?
No.
Okay. Okay. What would you pick in the? We're talking big 3-rows. So maybe a Range Rover doesn't apply to that because it's a 2-row. I like the Navigator actually. I think.
Okay.
I think it's very,
Yeah.
very. It's like a really good definition of classic American luxury.
I have one.
Yeah.
I will pick the LX 600.
I wore.
What? Were you
Sorry,
gonna-
you can finish your argument.
So
Apologize.
it's a new Lexus.
It's so dramatic.
It's a new Lexus. Yeah, I know it has an executive package. We recently had that where the rear seats are very recliny and very comfortable.
Dare we
But-
say airline-like?
Yes.
First class or private.
But you could also have it with 3 rows, kind of a standard configuration. And it's one of those more unique vehicles. You're not going to see it everywhere in every corner. I think they only sold like 6,000 of them last year. So LX.
I didn't like the LX when we had it, which is why.
That's a hot take from Tom.
Yeah, I didn't like it. So we had the F Sport fairly recently,
Uh-huh.
LX 600, and it was trying to be too many things, and I felt like it accomplished none of them. So
Too luxurious, too off-road.
So here's the thing. So the LX is based on the 300 series Land Cruiser, which is a legendary off-road vehicle. But the front end is too low, the grille is too big, there's too much plastic for it to be an off-roader. So you're thinking, well, get the F Sport, make it be a performance crossover.
Sure.
22-inch wheels, and it
I
weighs
wouldn't do that.
7,000 pounds. So it's not a good performance vehicle. And you say, well, it's the ultimate in luxury. But then it's got these huge wheels and the makes the ride worse. And then it's got these aggressive seats. So maybe the standard LX 600 is better, but the F Sport was really not it for me. Yeah, and I don't love that.
What's yours?
I don't love that new twin turbo 3.5.
So
I mean, it's I'm getting there.
Sorry.
I really like that twin turbo. I mean, I like the performance, but it doesn't have a lot of character.
I like the old V8 better.
Yeah, I like the old V8. Probably the Escalade. I think the Escalade is the best.
V?
The V. Now you're thinking, Andre.
Supercharged. There's Tommy.
That is a fantastic vehicle.
And it sounds amazing.
Talk about vehicle that's not a commodity. That thing is just so berserk and bizarre in so many ways.
All right, should we go back to trucks?
Sure.
We've worked our way up
what's yours?
to HD.
What's yours?
Navigator.
Oh, you said
Lincoln.
Navigate.
Yeah.
Okay. HD.
Yeah. There's only 3 choices here.
Well,
Big 3.
or 4. I mean, GMC and Chevy.
Okay, fair enough.
4. Boy.
Are you a Cummins guy? Are you a
Power Stroke guy or
or
a
a
Duramax guy?
gal?
And right now, I'm Power Stroke man.
Ooh, okay. Ford.
So
250
recently,
or 350?
so for my needs or for most of my tasks, it'll be a 250.
Fair enough.
So I don't want a dually for my personal use. I don't tow 30,000 pounds regularly. So it would have to be a 250 with a new high output engine. It's just this new engine is amazing. I mean, it's also not only does it have 500 horsepower and 1,200 pound-feet of
At least
torque.
today.
At least today.
We just did a bunch of stories where the 7.3 was less powerful than stated in some of the marketing materials.
Yeah.
Go to alltfl.com if you want to read about that.
Ford is giving owners
$100 back.
$100.
Because apparently they were giving them less. They were giving them 15 horsepower less, so they're getting
Yeah.
$100 back. How much is that per horsepower? Can you do the math?
I don't know.
It's $8 per horsepower.
Okay.
There you go.
But I think the Power Stroke, and we've driven Cummins, we've driven Duramaxes, but I think if I was to pick a truck, it'd probably be a F-250 Tremor, just an off-road ready truck with a new Power Stroke, great powertrain.
What's your choice?
Hate to say it.
Dieselgate?
You gonna say the AEV thing again?
No, I'm not going to say the AE. I mean, the reason I hate to say this is because we own it, right? We have an AEV now upgraded. We bought it 2 years ago. Is it 2 years ago?
Yeah, almost 2 years ago,
We
yes.
bought a Ram 2500 Cummins Lariat. I really love that truck.
No, not Lariat.
It was a Bighorn.
Oh, Bighorn, sorry.
Yeah.
Bighorn.
Lariat's a Ford thing.
Ford, no, sorry, Bighorn. It was Bighorn. It's one of those trucks that's got everything you need, nothing you don't. So, cloth seats,
Yeah, it's great.
But yet, enough technology to make it fun and usable. It's great for a road trip. We've actually put on like 24,000 miles. It tows like a dream. And now that we've upgraded it to our friends Fox, with Fox suspension, it actually has a really good on-road and off-road ride. It's not great. I gotta be honest here, as I always am. I hate saying that because it seems like I'm not sometimes, but I always am. Any of the heavy-duty trucks are just not a joy to take off-road. They're hard to see out of.
And they tend to be bouncy.
They're nose heavy.
They're pretty bouncy.
Power Wagon's pretty good.
Except for the Power Wagon.
Yeah, Power Wagon's pretty good.
Yeah, now we know. We just came back from Moab. Now we know why Ram never put diesel into the Power Wagon. It just makes it so nose heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you got to jump over this obstacle, and
Yeah.
if you have so much weight in the front of it, it's just
How about
insane.
you, Tommy?
I don't have a lot of experience in HD trucks, so I'm
Yeah.
going to leave the referral to you guys.
Okay.
All right, so moving on to the car category, let's talk about the best off-road vehicle.
Ooh, that's a great one.
In the car category.
Yeah,
Ooh.
SUVs, obviously.
SUV category.
Uh-huh.
392 Jeep
Okay.
Wrangler. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
No, so I shouldn't say your best, your favorite.
Yeah, lemon squeezy. It's just, V8 in a Wrangler. What more could you want? It's just so much fun. It's so loud. It's so brash. It's so out there. I love vehicles that shouldn't exist. That one certainly shouldn't exist. There's no need for it except for the fact that you want it.
Yeah.
How about you, Andre?
Forerunner.
Really?
Choice.
Really?
That's a good choice. Have you driven
I
that,
love the 392.
Yeah.
Yeah.
392 is just so insane in every way possible, especially on 35s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But it is also $95,000.
It's a lot of money.
and it's almost untouchable for a lot of people. The Forerunner. So I recently went to the Tacoma event, right? And some of the shuttles shuttling people between two locations were Forerunners.
Yep.
And I got into one. I'm like, this vehicle is 15 years old. Or something crazy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the design's been
Comfortable old shoes.
yeah. It was. I was like, what would they change about this? Almost nothing.
Yeah, it's really
I mean,
good.
maybe efficiency. I could change maybe efficiency of one, to get a little bit more efficiency out of it. But I would change. The seats were comfortable. It was really nice to drive. TRD Pro Forerunners are amazing.
Yeah, great.
I wouldn't change a lot of things about it.
Yeah, especially they have the 2023 40th anniversary with the retro stripes. It's really cool. Yeah. So for me, I'm going to choose the Bronco as my favorite off-roader right now, but not just the Raptor, because I think the Raptor's too expensive and looks like it's got child pools as fender flares. So I would go for.
You know what I saw the other day? Driving down from Loveland, I saw a Bronco Raptor, okay, with like 33s. Somebody had taken the big.
And put on smaller tires.
Yeah, I think maybe for snow tires or some reason, but it looked so out of proportion. Like those 4 foot long, like you said, swimming pool sized fender flares were now it's just so ridiculously. I just was mesmerized. Like, why would you do that? Why would you go like smaller? I'm serious. What does it come with? 35s, I think. 37s.
Yeah.
Somebody had put 33s on it. It looked tiny and silly.
So my choice is the Bronco Everglades.
Ooh.
So it's really cool.
That's a good one.
And it's not a super common spec, but it's a stripped down like 4-cylinder engine model with vinyl floors. But then it's got the Sasquatch package, so it's got the lockers, and it also has a snorkel. It's got the winch. It's got these really cool steel style wheels. It's just the best trim. I think it's just fantastic, and you never see them because it's like 55, I want to say. So you can get a lot. You can get like a V6 Bronco with nicer features for that money. But for me, yeah, the Everglades is the ultimate spec. I think it's really cool.
I'm going to play a little game here. The next category is EVs.
Okay.
All electric cars, and I'm going to guess what your two cars are.
Oh.
I'm going to guess yours, and I'm going to guess yours.
Okay.
All right, for you, I'm going to guess Taycan Cross Turismo.
It is not.
And for you, I'm going to guess BMW i3.
It's not new.
It maybe is, but it's
The
not
old
new.
one. All right, well, bad guessing. All right, let's start with you, Tommy. What is your favorite EV?
So I was really surprised by this. I really enjoyed my time in the Mercedes EQE.
Sedan or SUV?
The SUV.
Okay.
Believe it or not, it's not on paper that great because it's
Or visually.
or visually it's not that great. You're right. Yeah, it looks like an aspirin, but and you need to take one if you stare at it for too long.
Oh,
But the quality of the driving experience in this car are unmatched. So don't get the AMG. That's silly. Just get the standard 350 or 500, and it's like you just shut out the outside world completely and just cruise. It's got decent range. It's got one of the best driving experiences of any car I've ever driven, period. It's that comfortable. I actually like the size more than the EQS SUV. And you know, there's some pretty decent used deals and discounts out there on EQEs right now. So that's my car right now. Charge is pretty good. It's got really good information about like range estimation and where your power's going and like your peak charge rate in the screen. Don't get the hyper screen. I don't like the hyper screen. Get the standard
Yeah,
screen.
for sure. Don't get the hyper screen.
Beautiful interior, by the way, with this open pore wood, and it's a wonderful car. I really love it.
How about you, Andre?
Rolls-Royce Spectre. No,
There you go,
no.
Andre.
We haven't driven it.
No, I've never
I
been
think
near one.
Rolls-Royce doesn't like us for some
No,
reason.
Rolls-Royce
No,
does not like us very
no.
much.
Well, I don't know what we did to offend them.
No.
Sorry, Rolls. Let us know what we did.
I'm gonna say Rivian. I have to say Rivian.
Okay, fair.
And both the SUV, the R1S
Yeah.
and the R1T are quite similar in their character.
Yep.
I mean, of course, they're based on the same vehicle. They are the same vehicle for the most part. And I love driving the R1S as well. I was on the East Coast at the event. We had one here as well. Wonderful, wonderful SUV.
I'm on Tommy's page, but a little bigger. I love the EQS.
The sedan?
The sedan. Don't get the AMG version. You don't need it.
No.
Love that rear wheel steering. It turns on a dime. The interior is immaculate. You just feel very special driving it. And I also feel like because electric cars tend to depreciate much faster, a $130,000 car 2 years down the road can be had for now it's like $80,000 or $70,000. And I'm a sucker for bargains. And while the styling is a little polarizing, the interior and how it drives and how it feels and just the quality of the build is immaculate.
So we'll do one or two more categories.
Yeah.
This is one I'm passionate about. Affordable cars or SUVs. So let's set a budget like 28 grand or $30,000. What is the best affordable car or SUV on the market?
I have one.
Go for it.
Out of the ballpark.
Yes. Mhm.
Home run. Chevrolet did a wonderful job with the new tracks. I was at the event.
I think you took Tommy's.
Yeah, we're on the same
agree?
page. Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic car.
It's front-wheel drive only, so it's not a all-wheel drive situation.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my gosh, can you look it up? What is the starting price of a new tracks?
21,495.
Roman, how can you beat that? I mean, it's a brand new
I've
vehicle.
never driven it, so I have nothing intelligent to say about it.
No.
I saw it at the auto show.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's not the quickest thing in the shed.
Sure.
No.
It's a 3-cylinder, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want a performance experience, it's not going to be a performance experience. But for the price of about what, 22,000 or so.
Yep.
Or maybe even $25,000 for a well optioned one.
Yep.
I think the new tracks. Casey and I drove it at the event. We drove it here. I would recommend it to any new family or any new driver looking for an affordable, nice first vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing they can sell that car for that, right? Standard.
In this current day.
Currently, standard
Yeah.
wireless Apple CarPlay, 2 screens, digital instrument cluster. Available 11-inch screen is really affordable. The design is great. You got LED lighting in the vehicle. You got great space, really good backseat space. I mean, it's such a good car for low to mid-20s. It's just like a complete no-brainer. I mean, front-wheel drive only.
Yep.
But standard turbo, not a fast car, but you do have a little bit of zip out of that 3-cylinder.
I'm going to guess yours, Roman.
Go for it.
The best affordable new car. Candy.
Yes, not the
That's
candy. Not the candy.
Is that, no?
No, I'm going to start with one that we've already talked about, but I think it's incredible, the Maverick. I think
that's
that
a good
is
one.
a hell of a bargain, even as Ford keeps raising the prices. But that's a truck. So car-wise, I'd actually like to pick a Subaru, but once again, they don't give us any. So the last one that we had was a previous generation Crosstrek, which is sitting out there in the parking lot.
Which is still a wonderful car.
Which is a
Yeah,
wonderful
it's
car,
awesome.
but I've not gotten my hands on the new one, so I can't pick it. I haven't driven the Toyota Corolla Cross, which also is kind of in that
Yeah, it's a good car.
category.
Yep.
So let me think a little bit longer, Tommy. How about you? I'll think about it.
Well, it's got to be Trax is number one for me. Just the value for money is just amazing. Other car on my list, which I really liked this year I drove, was the base model Corolla Hybrid. You can now spec with all-wheel drive. You can get the rear electric motor, and that's great value for the money. It's a little bit more expensive than the Trax, but you have all-wheel drive, good space, and of course the Toyota reliability.
efficiency,
Yeah,
too.
standard safety tech.
I got one. How could I forget this? The Bolt.
Oh,
It's dead though.
I know.
It's not very useful for.
Yeah, but after rebates, ours was like 18,000.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing, but
it's an amazing car.
Amazing car, yeah.
And they
It's
just
gone.
discontinued it.
Yeah, that would be
So, like
mine, yeah.
last week, it was discontinued.
Yep. So that's gone.
All right, you got some more categories before we close this up? I got one more.
Okay, what do you got?
And before we have to answer some questions too. If price were no object, boys, what's your favorite car?
Oh boy.
Price for no object. I'll start. You guys think about it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you could probably guess mine.
What's yours?
Come on, you can. I got to drive it from California to.
Oh, you still like the G-Wagon Squared?
Yeah, I still have the G-Wagon Squared. It's just that's got everything that I love about a vehicle. It's crazy, makes no sense, huge horsepower, sounds incredible. Certainly makes a visual statement. The only downside to that is it's a little douchey, right? It's like the car that people who never go off-road drive. And so my favorite thing is to take that car off-road and see people's like jaws drop when you're out there in a almost $300,000 car, putting it in the way of danger. Of course, I've done that with Mercedes. Don't tell them. So it isn't mine. I don't know if I spent that much money on it, if I would actually do it, but I probably would.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. How about you, Andre? Price is no object. Could be a truck.
Right.
Yeah, could be like one of those crazy expensive,
So most new pickup trucks
Yeah.
that are loaded up, they're approaching 100K or over 100K.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I think if you ask me like right now, which one, I think I would get a King Ranch F250 Power Stroke diesel Tremor.
Nice.
That one I priced out at about 103,000.
Good choice.
That's a lot of
So
money.
I mean,
Got a lot of towing, got a lot of off-roading.
It's also comfy. It's got massaging seats. Although the massaging seat is like it's like a large cat walking on your back, right? But
As opposed to a big cat, a tiger.
yeah, I'm a kitty cat. But I think it does a lot of things. Plus, it tows gigantic trailers. I think the F250 Tremor Power Stroke King Ranch.
Good choice. If money no object, I think the car I'm most excited about right now is that Ineos Grenadier. I think that's a really cool. So it's this British four-wheel drive, which just started selling in this U.S. last month. It's like $80,000, but it's a throwback to the Defender. So solid axles, locking diff, steel wheels, snorkel, winch. I mean, all these really cool features. Yeah, I mean, it's just the coolest thing. We just did a story on one, and I can't wait to spend some more time in one because I think it's like one of the last solid axle vehicles with
And we've
true lockers.
ordered one, and hopefully it'll show up at some point.
Yeah, vinyl floors too. I mean, it's not good value. There's no way $80,000 for vinyl floors is not good value, but it is amazing that you can still build a car like this.
Yeah, full disclosure, we actually have 3 vehicles that we're hoping to get this year for long-term reviews. Cybertruck, Ineos Grenadier, and of course the Tacoma. And we buy these, we spend a lot of time, thinking about which vehicles we should buy, and we buy them because they're the most interesting and they're brand new, so we don't know, what kind of reliability it'll have. And we also buy them because we think that they're the most interesting for you guys, so they'll get kind of the most clicks and help pay for them.
Although the car we really should be buying is the GX.
Yeah,
There's a lot of excitement around the GX.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't want to. Once again, we don't want to be fanboys or girls of any brand, and so I start to feel like we're a Toyota fanboy site when.
if we bought a Tacoma and a GX at the same time.
Yeah, or a Land Cruiser, and that's
But
the
we could
issue.
buy a GX later, like later this year.
Yeah, I think it would be worth it because there's just so much excitement around the GX.
I have no doubt. It's because it's a completely new.
It's a nice one. I
and
mean,
it's actually
we haven't driven
It's
it yet.
good looking now.
No.
We haven't driven it yet.
It's relatively affordable, and it's got the off-road goodness. All right, you got some questions that we can answer really
Well,
quick?
I had a couple of comments.
Yeah, okay.
So one of the comments is from Saeed on patreon.com/TFLcar.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way, for supporting us.
Yeah, thank you for supporting us. Saeed actually had a comment about he just switched from an older Tacoma 2017 TRD Pro into a Rivian R1T, and he said he's not looking back. He loves it. He says he's saving money because his Tacoma was not very fuel efficient. This is a previous generation V6. He likes the extra space. He's saving money because he's not putting fuel into it anymore, and he's charging at home for the most part, and it fits his lifestyle. So that's a comment from Saeed.
Well, congratulations, Saeed. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Only flying that ointment is gas is now so cheap.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to save a lot of money
money,
for it to,
yeah.
to bridge the gap there. But it's a great vehicle.
Speaking of which, I used to go to, I still go to Sam's Club, right? And when gas was like $5 a gallon or $6 a gallon, people put up those little stickers of Biden pointing to the numbers.
Oh, yeah,
saying,
yeah, I did that.
I did that. I want to put them up there now. I'm sorry, I'm not being political. I just think it'd be a fun little prank to play
hot take.
on anybody who thinks that like presidents have that much control over the price of oil when it's a much more complicated thing.
Yes. Did you have any other points? Because I have another comment
Yeah, keep
here
going,
from
Andre.
Kyle. So we recently did, we have a Wrangler AEV edition 2016, right? So it's a JK. And we recently I took it over this additional obstacle in Andre's pit, which was this mound that David built.
Yeah.
And we asked people to help us name it. So Kyle says, this will go along with your lava lane, a Krakatoa Cliff.
Oh, I like that.
I like
So
that
he
too.
wants
That's
to
good.
call it Krakatoa.
Krakatoa Cliff.
I have another email that somebody wanted to call it the spoiler, because it was a British term for a pile of, you know what? A spoil pile.
Maybe too inside Britain.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it might be too. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like fanny pack. You could say that in America. Don't say that in Britain for obvious reasons. Can I do a quick rant while you guys are looking for comments?
Sure.
Sure.
I really wish manufacturers would not call their cars with names or name their cars with names that people can't spell. I'll give you a classic example of that. It's the Nissan Aria. I've heard people mispronounce that so many different ways. Aria, Ariel almost. I mean, even to this day, I don't know how you spell Aria. I don't understand. Maybe in Japanese it sounds better, and maybe that's, something the Japanese don't take into consideration, but it just doesn't work. And Porsche's kind of the worst at that. To this day, I'm also struggling with like Taycan, Macan. It's just name it something like Mustang.
People generally seem, based on our previous podcast comments, to want affordable, reliable, basic trucks. That's what everyone's asking for.
Okay, I see. This is one of those things that I disagree with, because Jalopnik wrote a story today that Ram is will sell you a brand new 16-year-old truck.
Which is what the classic. The classic. Yes.
Yeah. So in all the comments, people are like, I want something that's not an Obtanium, and yet the manufacturers keep selling more and more expensive trucks. So the question I have to ask myself is, who's buying those?
Yeah. So the greatest growth in the heavy-duty segment last year was GMC Sierra, which is not an expensive vehicle. I mean, most of them are 84Xs or Denali's, right? So if the biggest growth in the General Motors, which is the biggest, pickup truck maker, right? Because combined they outsell Ford. Who's buying GMC Sierras?
Is there like Planet Pickup somewhere in the universe where very rich aliens come and buy all these very expensive trucks and bring them back home? Because what you say and what you do don't correlate, right? Because the manufacturers will build what you buy.
But we all love affordable stuff. We mentioned the Maverick ad nauseum.
And it's selling like crazy.
And also, you guys went to Japan and you saw a little tiny Toyota pickup concept.
Right. It's electric, though.
Why don't... I know.
It's going to be expensive.
You think it...
But that's a correlation that does work, which is electric cars, right? Most people say that electric vehicles are too expensive, and the market is bearing that out, because you go to a lot, and the cars that are sitting on the lot are the Mach-E's,
the expensive ones,
right? And not the Mustangs.
Sure.
Right. So there, I think there is a correlation. Having said that, there's a story out there that there's this kind of both the manufacturers and customers are pulling back on electrified vehicles, and yet last year, we sold over 1 million electrified vehicles, which is more than the previous year. So once again, what people are saying and feeling, and what the news is reporting, is counter to what the facts are on the ground.
Well, I think we probably bored these folks.
Yes. Do you want to go back to your discussion while I leave?
No, I think we're good, Dad. I think
you and Andre can keep
well,
talking
because
about
I don't have a
2-liter turbos and 3-liter.
No, I don't have. No, but let's continue for the next hour, Tommy.
We'll just keep going, Andre.
Because I am concerned about this. Because if every 3-liter or 2-liter engine is the same, or they feel the same on power and sound, right? then how do you differentiate? I mean, it has to be a user experience, right? It has to be the things you touch inside of the vehicle. What if all of them drive themselves?
Well,
What are you going to do then? What, are you just sitting down on the couch?
These people their brains are going to explode, Andre. You're bringing up a lot of good points.
All right, I'm going to go turn the camera off. You guys keep going, and thank you for watching as always. This is Roman.
And Tommy.
And Andre.
We'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, so what about that? Carpet maybe?
Ciao.
Carpets?
Hurts the brain, Andre.
Different carpets.
Bye, I'm turning it off.